Hey everyone, it's that wonderful time of the year again. It's time for my annual pedalboard video. I tend to do one of these videos every year, pretty much, and well, this year is no exception. The pedalboard that I did last year never saw an actual gig, which kind of summarizes the year 2020 pretty well. It was a pretty cool board that I had going last year. However, this year I've got something even cooler in my humble opinion. A few things have changed, a few things have left the board, a few things have entered, and the board itself has changed. I've been using a Pedal Train Classic Junior for many years, I think since 2015 or so, and now I've upped the game to a Novo 24, also from Pedal Train. So let's go through the signal chain and whatnot. So first up, we've got the bass. It's my Yamaha Attitude Limited 3. This is my main bass, which I've had for 5 years now. I've changed the pickups to the Lundgren Hot, and they are encased in epoxy so that they can get nice and close to the strings. Running both outputs to the pedalboard. So we're gonna go through the different signal chains and whatnot. So it all starts off with the Line6 Relay G70. Apart from being a great wireless unit, this is also a wonderful DI box, which gives you access to 3 quarter-inch outputs, 2 main outputs and 1 buffered tuner output, and also an XLR output, which is outstanding. I haven't been able to find a wireless unit that does all of this, and I'm not sure that this one is still in production. I'm not really sure actually. But yeah, it's great, and I have 2 because I have 2 outputs on my bass. So starting with the Lundgren Hot pickup, it goes into the uppermost Relay G70 and then into input number 1 of the Neural DSP Quad Cortex. This is the main brains of this whole pedalboard operation. The reason why I'm doing this extensive and big pedalboard with some additional external pedals is because, well, I could use neural capture for pretty much all of this. However, if I were to do that, I wouldn't be able to access the nice routing options that having external pedals in the effects loop offer. So that's why I'm doing this. And, it's fun with pedals. So what other reason do you need? Anyways, so I'm going from the Line6 Relay G70 into input 1. And on the uppermost signal path, we've got a few things going. First up, we've got the pitch shifter, which I'm using mainly for, doing the nice lead things. With my lead preset, I've also got the bulldozer preset, which is pretty close to that. Although that one also features an octave down. We'll get to that in a second, sorry. Anyways, it all starts off with the pitch shifter. Then we have the effects loop, which I'm gonna touch upon in a few seconds. Then we got a compressor block and a noise gate. And then we got the split, which is the reason why I'm doing this big and extensive pedalboard. Because the uppermost row goes to the XLR outputs, output 1 and 2, which are going straight into my computer as of now, which is what you're hearing in this video. Output 1 and 2 also have the cab blocks going. So on the uppermost signal flow, I've got a 115 cabinet loaded up, and on the lowermost one, we got the 810 cabinet going. Which are then followed by some EQ, just, to take away some of the nasty highs and the subby lows. And outputs 3 and 4 are going into my Darkglass Alpha Omega 900 amp, which essentially serves as a power amp for this operation. I'm running into the input stage and not into the effects loop because I've got some other stuff going in the effects loop, which I'll get to in a second as well. So that's output 3 and 4. Now let's get to the tasty effects loop section, shall we? So in the effects loop, I've got the ultimate Billy Sheehan signature drive from EBS, and that one is going into input 1 of the Suncoast BC3XL stereo bass preamp. I'm using the EBS mostly as a guitar player would use a tube screamer in front of a highly saturated amp. It gives the tone some additional mid-bite and some nice punch, and it also gives my clean tone a wee bit of teeth so that it's not completely sterile and clean. So here is my clean tone with the EBS engaged. And here is without it. So as you can hear, it's a pretty darn clean tone without this fine pedal, but with it you get some additional bite, which is nice, in my humble opinion. Here is a taste of my distorted tone with and without the EBS Ultimate Billy Sheehan drive, so that you can hear the difference in that regard as well. So here is with it. And here is without it. So like I said, the EBS goes into input number 1 of the Suncoast BC3XL, which then goes out of output number 1 into effects loop number 1. And that's the uppermost signal path for ya. The neck pickup, or the woofer pickup if you will, goes into the lowermost Line 6 Relay G70. Then I had to use my old foot switch that I used with my EBS Billy Sheehan signature drives back in the day. I had to use that to patch two patch cables together because I had run out of the longest ones. So it was an emergency solution. However, it's actually kind of nice, and it allows me to have a kill switch for the lowermost channel should I ever need one. So that is cool in my humble opinion. So there is that. Anyways, the neck pickup goes from the G70 into input number 2 of the Line6 Quad Cortex, and then we got the lowermost single path going there. It's pretty much the same as the uppermost one. This one starts off with the compressor instead of the pitch shifter. The pitch shifter on this one does a few things. On the lead preset, it gives me an octave up, and on the bulldozer preset, it goes way down. So that's the pitch shifter. And then we got the effects loop number 2, which then goes into input number 1 of the Suncoast BC3XL, which does its magic, and then back into the Line6 Quad Cortex. And then we have the 2 different outputs with the XLR 1.2 and the quad-inch 3.4 outputs going. And that's pretty much it for the signal path for the lowermost channel as well. As you can see, I've got some effects going as well. I got a chorus going on the uppermost channels, which is always useful and wonderful and all of that good stuff. And I've also got a delay going, which is just for the lead and bulldozer stuff. So there is that. What else? Oh yes, another nice addition to this new setup is the mean green box that you can see here. That one is a MIDI relay. So this one allows me to go from my clean tone to my distorted one. So the way that I did this a few months back was that I essentially lowered the output gain of the effects loop blocks and cleaned up the tone. That way it worked, but it added some terrible hissing and noise to my tone. I doubt that anyone would hear that in, you know, a full mix context and whatnot, but it kind of bothered me, and this way I get access to the true clean tone of the Suncoast and the truly distorted one. So that's nice. I've also got the Suncoast LM1 dynamic limiter here on my pedalboard. That one is hooked up to the effects loop of the Alpha Omega 900. I've got it hooked up right now, and it's essentially just going for the initial transients and just clamping them down a wee bit in terms of volume. The green box is hooked up through the MIDI output of the Neural-ESP Quad Cortex, and in the MIDI input jack I've got the Harley Benton MP100 MIDI controller going. This one allows me to go between my 5 different scenes. I've got my distorted tone, I got my clean tone, got clean with chorus, I've got my lead tone, and I've got the bulldozer. Other than that, the MP100 allows me to go into gig view. It allows me to access the tuner, should I want to. It also allows me to access the tap tempo function, should I want that. So it's a really nice and solid MIDI controller. It's not too expensive, which is nice. That way you can keep it at the front of the stage and not worrying too much when someone spills beer into it. Which, let's face it, people tend to do if you're not careful with your nice stuff. And this way I can keep my pedalboard by my amp and out of harm's way. All of this is being powered by the Cioks DC7 and the Strymon Ojai, sorry, I always get that name wrong. It is currently running at about 70% of the maximum capacity, and that is essentially due to the 2 Line6 relays being hooked up as well. Those guys are pretty power hungry, but hey, it's only at 70%, so that's nice and wonderful. I did a separate video a while back on how you can hook up the Neural-ESP Quad Cortex to the Cioks DC7, so you can find that here on my channel. It's pretty messy underneath my board as of now. I haven't attached the patch cables with, you know, the nice things that you can do, because I'm planning on doing the soldering dance and doing my own patch cables and making everything, you know, nice and tidy. I'm using the EBS flat patch cables and an EBS MIDI and an EBS flat stereo cable, which allows me to access the foot switch function of the Suncoast BC3 XL. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So there you have it. That's my pedal board for 2021. I hope that this board actually gets the chance to see an actual gig. I'm really happy with how it has turned out. It's a no compromises board, I call it. There are no, you know, shortcuts in terms of getting the tone that I want, and I feel that it was time to do that and not, you know, compromise with leaving a pedal at home or something like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell if you enjoyed that video. If you have any questions, leave them down below here in the comment section. Make sure to share this video with your bass playing friends and enemies if you want to. And I'll see you guys and gals and cats and dogs in the next video. Until next time, take care. Bye.
But hey, I'm in the band.